Welcome, campers, to Night Camp Horror. As a reminder, please be sure to dispose of all missing limbs before jumping into the pool. Campers, if you're going to use the bow and arrows for murderous activities, please be sure to return them afterwards. All demon summoning books must be checked before reading out loud. Kindly turn off your cell phones. The spirits need their rest. As darkness is upon us, and our campfire begins to burn, we hope you can stay alive for as long as you can.
Damn it. All right, hold on, guys. Nobody brought an umbrella. Nobody got a poncho or anything. Nobody got any of this shit.
Not enough for everyone.
All right, kids, everybody in the cab. Wait, we got to get back to the... Shit, we are really far out of here. We were supposed to do spooky stories now. We are really a good 2-mile trek right now. And what is that in there? Ooh, hey, guys. Guys, do you see that? Down...
Yeah, I do.
Down a little bit.
Is that a cabin?
It is. I think... I think that's a cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
I think we should go.
Yeah, it is.
All right, let's get in there. It's starting pouring right now. Shit, come on, kids. Come on,
I
come
got
on.
the door. Let's go.
Open the door. Come on, get in here.
Besides all of my instincts, I am going to go into this cabin.
Yeah, we got to get into the cabin. Dude, it's fucking pouring right now. Everybody get inside. Inside. Okay. Shut the door. Sabrina, shut the door. Thank you.
Got it.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Fuck. No, and we have no... Matt, can you check for towels real quick?
Fine.
For towels.
By myself?
I mean, it's just a cabin. Just check for towels. The closet's right behind you. Just open the closet, please. Just check for towels.
All right,
anything
all
in
Anybody
there?
have any dry matches?
Is there anything in there? Check real quick. Nothing?
No.
No. Shit. Okay. All right. Somebody start a fire. We'll start a fire over here.
Matches?
Oh, shit.
Mine are
fucking
wet.
soaked.
My starter.
All right, everybody, please, sorry. We were going to go out there and we were going to do some camp stories. We were really excited to talk to you guys about the big spooky story that all three of us came together and actually created this story. But unfortunately, due to this storm that's passing, we have to come into this cabin. We're going to have to wait the storm out. So unfortunately, that sucks. But hey, that's what we're here for. Head camp counselor Tommy James, Mr. Oh So Smooth Movie Guy, baby, is here. And we got to figure something out to do now that we're stuck in this cabin that's for some reason, of course, is in the woods. Let's talk about Mr. Head Camp Counselor. You guys know Mr. Head Camp Counselor over here, Mista Malave. Hey.
Hey, what's going on, people? Yo, I got my jeans wet, yo. It doesn't feel good at all.
I hate that feeling.
But
I hate that feeling.
I didn't die when I got the towels, so here you go.
I thought you said there was no towels in there.
Well, I found some, all right?
Oh,
do you want them or not?
Say something. Yeah, good. You pass the towels out.
Jesus.
All right, I give all the kids the towels. Okay, so
Hair
here we
dye
got
on
here.
this towel?
Maybe.
Looks purplish.
I don't know what it is. I didn't make the towels. They're not mine.
Just find these weird towels. And okay, and children, of course, as we know, we have Florida's camp favorite creep is here. Camp's favorite creep is here. Sabrina Ace.
Hello, kiddos. Hello. We have a lot of things that we wanted to do today, but unfortunately we could not. So
now this is what
we're gonna hang out in here, even though it smells like
adapting.
musty and weird.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we don't have a choice.
We're not going to talk about that.
No,
I'm sure these are bodily fluids.
We honestly don't have a.
Oh,
come on, man! You were supposed to check the towels before you handed it out to the children.
I mean, what do you?
Haven't you seen
do,
Cabin Fever?
First there was no towels. Now there was towels, bro. I don't know what's happening here, but like they're just there. They just showed up.
Well, then again,
just gave it.
I'm pretty sure. Again, we were walking before, and I didn't see this cabin in the woods, and now, miraculously, there shows up a cabin in the woods. I don't know how that happened.
Listen, I think that's just super convenient for us.
I know I took an edible like an hour ago because I thought that would make the story a lot better and me more animated. But like, if you guys are seeing this shit too, like I'm a little crazy. I'm a little scared now.
We're literally sitting in the cabin right now. Okay, all right. Well, the kids are scared. We got to go back to the kids. Okay, children, listen really quick. Okay, so we had this whole story planned out, but it only works if we were outside because now we're in this cabin. we might as well talk about something involving cabins in the woods.
Oh,
Might as well. You know?
So,
oh, yeah.
I have to ask a question like I normally do is, has anybody seen the film Cabin in the Woods?
Of course.
It's such a
seen it
good
a bunch of
old-fashioned
times.
movie. It's a great fucking movie, man. It's 2011. It's a horror movie, but it's also kind of funny. It's a comedy. And it's directed by Drew Goddard. You guys know about Drew Goddard? You know what Drew Goddard's been up to?
No,
Up to, no.
Drew? Not really.
What's he been up to?
Drew Goddard, man. He used to write for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He used to write for Angel. He was a writer for Daredevil. And also a director for The Good Place. I don't know if you ever seen that movie, The Good Place. Well, I mean the show. Sorry, I said the movie. The show, The Good Place?
No.
Kristen Bell? No, really?
I've seen the other shows.
Kristen Bell, Ted Danson? No?
No.
Oh, shit. You got to watch it.
Oh, God.
What? You got to watch that shit. It's hilarious. Anyway, he's a more of a horror comedy director writer. So this actually fits really well for him. And the one thing that I love about this movie is it stars fucking Chris Hemsworth.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it does.
Oh, yeah. We got Thor in a horror movie.
And this was before Thor.
It was right, it was
like
right before
technically
Thor. Yeah.
he
Wasn't
filmed
it after,
this.
because didn't Thor come out 2011 and then
He
Cabin in the
filmed
Woods
this first though.
12?
2012.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he filmed this first.
Because he filmed
And
this
then,
first because he wasn't Thor just yet. That's why it was cool that you had
He wasn't the household name.
right. He wasn't.
He was
Chris Hemsworth.
auditioning. He was auditioning.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I love about this movie, it's not your typical horror movie, and that's comedy aside. This is a movie where they literally know what's happening. They got the memo. They said, I know what we're doing here. We're going to make a horror movie, but we're going to make fun of horror movies and turn it into Las Vegas, in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Like a build your own adventure.
this movie...
It is like a build your own
It
adventure.
really is like a build your own adventure. And I love the fact that we start strong with the movie because we start with Richard Jenkins and Bradley fucking Whitford right off the bat. We are starting with fucking the father from Step Brothers and the fucking asshole from fucking Eric from Billy Madison. Like, two dudes are coming and you're like, they're, and keep in mind, they are comedic actors.
What are these douches doing?
Their dynamic is great together.
They're fantastic together. On screen,
got
those
Like
guys
they
are
understand
nailing
what
it.
the assignment is, and they fucking go for it. I love it.
Nailing it. Nailing this fucking shit. And I love the fact that we don't get what's going to happen. We get some sort of dialogue where it's like, I wonder where they work for. And I don't know if you guys had this feeling as the movie continued. Did this give you Belko experiment vibes?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. A little bit.
A little
At
Belko
least
experiment?
from like the end, yes, it gave me Belko experiment.
I got to tell you right off the bat. Let's do
Also,
again.
like,
We're
the
going to do
facility,
the initial
the
reactions.
faculty.
Oh, that's another one. Yeah. I would say let's initial reaction on this one. When it comes to this movie, when I first seen it, I was like, I don't know if I should take this movie serious, if I should enjoy it. The first watching and first viewing, I was, I don't really know about this. I had to watch it a second time to truly appreciate and like shut the brain off and just enjoy what I was seeing of how it's just trope after trope after trope, but it's done on purpose.
Yes.
And it's done as a joke. And it's done as like Chris Hemsworth's character, for example, is very intelligent, but they make him the dumb jock. Or the chick from Jungle Fury, Power Rangers Jungle Fury, she's the blonde chick. They put something in the dye that made her more like horny and shit. And
They turned her into the dumb blonde.
They turned her into a dumb blonde, but all of them were intelligent. That's what's fucking crazy. Except,
Yeah, they said like Chris Hemsworth was like a bioscience major. Or
something like that.
So, like, why is he acting like an idiot? And
the stoner was the one that figured it out. He was the one that's like, something's not right here.
Right.
This is weird. He doesn't talk like that. Marty
got so high that he just saw through all the bullshit.
That's what it was.
Fucking
weed, man. The weed be letting you know.
Fantastic.
They came out to say like whatever strain he was smoking made him immune to whatever mist they were putting out there, and it's like,
I thought it was.
I can appreciate that.
I thought it was absolutely fantastic. But let's go again. We're still on initial reactions here. Mr. Malave, what is your initial reaction to this film?
Oh man, I like again when I first saw it, I was like not expecting this at all because I don't think I'd seen the trailer or anything to this movie. I just knew that like there was this all right cabin in the woods. Let me just go like see it. And the trailer, seeing the trailer now, like they don't give away the whole like this is a hoax thing. They just give away like these are a couple kids in the woods, like and then movie. So then when I saw this movie, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is like extremely clever. Like the fact that like they're just like making fun of all the horror movies but also putting together a dope ass horror movie. Like I thought it was great. I was entertained the whole entire movie. I've seen this movie a few times already. I think probably like 5-6 times at this point. And like I love it. I love how there's little homages to old school horrors. Like once you see like all the compartments, you see like the twins from The Shining, you see the Devil's Rejects. Like it's so dope, and I feel like it was so clever. They haven't duplicated this movie ever again. It's such a good movie that they don't even need another one, and it's just like that's it. So I personally enjoy it, and every time I see it that it's on either on TV or anything else, no matter what part of the movie it's in, I start watching it again because it's very smart, and I love it.
Yeah, I agree. I feel that this is a movie that whatever part it's at, you can just pick it up from there and just go, all right, here we go, and know what's going on. Yep. It's not one of those where you're like, fuck, I got to share from the beginning. Like, no, you don't, because throughout the movie, they're explaining what's happening and what's going on, and you just put 2 and 2 together and you can figure it out. And you're all for that. Sabrina, your initial reaction to this film. What was your initial reaction?
So, I watched this movie back in 2012, and my initial reaction was, this is great. Look at all these Easter eggs for all these horror movies. And I absolutely love that they're making fun of horror movies. I didn't take it too seriously back then until the end when I took it too seriously. And I think that's what ruined it for me. But I watched it again recently, and knowing what I know going into it, I had a little bit of a different take up until the ending again. But that initial reaction for it, I was all for it. You got the classic, like, Scooby-Doo style gang going in there. You've got, essentially what they're labeling all these characters as. They could be any one of those stereotypes at any given time. So it doesn't matter what they're labeled as. They just make them take on those roles. So it was really fun to see those characters not be those characters, but put into those roles for this movie that was just an homage to a bunch of different horror movies. Like, and not even just horror movies, horror games and like horror shows. Like it has so much packed in that it's hard to see everything the first time. So I'm glad I watched it again, because now I'm picking up all these little different pieces and I'm able to pinpoint like, oh, this movie goes here. Like if you pause a certain scene in the movie, you see that there's all these other movies attached to it and like, these video games attached to another side. It's like, it's this huge conglomeration of just appreciation for every horror movie. And I fucking love that. Yeah. I love it so much. It is a good movie.
It is an awesome movie. And I mean, even when you look at the cast, the cast is fucking pretty top tier notch for this kind of a film here. You got Kristen Connolly, Chris Hemsworth, Anna Hutchinson, you got Fran Kranz, and you got Jesse fucking Williams, who, as we know, Sabrina, you love yourself some Jesse Williams.
Yeah, for any of the video game fans out there, if you've ever played Detroit Become Human, Jesse Williams is the character model for Marcus, which plays a huge part in the story.
Yeah, and I didn't know that because I haven't really played the game like that. But that's a nice little Easter egg for those gamers out there that have played it before. But again, these are faces that you recognize, and they
another Easter eggs for gamers. But we'll get to that later.
There's a bunch in this one, and the one thing
Jesse
that
Williams was also on Grey's Anatomy. If anybody really likes
and I don't watch Grey's Anatomy, so I don't know the guy. I just would look and go, that's the guy, But I know Chris Hemsworth. I knew that Thor was in this movie, and I thought that was pretty bad.
He's a household name now.
He's a household name. Yes, and that's what I I loved about this movie. And so they end up going into Chris Hemsworth's cousins' cousins, and we do quotations because that part I'm like, so this whole thing was planned all along, and this is what we find out. It was literally the Belko experiment. It wasn't just happening in the United States. It was happening in Japan. It was they showed all over the world, and it was failing too, which was a very interesting part too. The little girls in Japan thing was fucking hilarious when they turned it into a frog.
They're saying all of it's failing, so it's literally down to the U.S. It's down to the wire that like they have to succeed,
and we fuck up, especially.
Of course we do.
We're the ones that fuck up the most.
There's no heroes.
Of course we're gonna fucking stupid. Of course we're stupid.
And so I like the fact that it's trope after trope after trope. They get in the car, they're heading over to the cabin, they have to get some gas, and they make a stop at the gas station, and they run into a man by the name of Mordecai.
Oh,
Mordecai, typical redneck.
Mordecai.
Yep. Coming in there, hills have eyes. Guy was a fucking jerk face. Looking at him
the harbinger.
I like when he calls her a slut, but she didn't do anything. She didn't do nothing wrong.
You're just a slut.
Just a big old whore. And you're like, she didn't even do. And then Chris Hemsworth's like, what the hell did you just say? No, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. And that's, keep in mind, they're normal at this point.
Yeah.
Completely normal. He throws money at him. Does he get gas?
I mean, they said that they did, but you don't see them do it.
You don't even hear it.
Yeah,
he throws the money and leaves.
Comes up and says, well, I guess his name's Holden. Holden's like, man, I think we got enough gas to get out of here. We got enough gas.
Well, that's when he goes, you have enough gas to get there, but not enough to get back.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, Chris Hemsworth just threw money at the guy. Just threw money. Just like,
here you go.
It's fucking $20. I'm gonna the fuck out because the next thing they move.
Problems,
I mean, I guess if you got money like that. I mean, he is. So it turned out he's a sociology major. So he's good with people.
There you go.
He's a people person.
Clearly.
He could have fucked that guy up if he wanted to. But he did.
Yeah, he could have got Minoru.
He could have fucking kicked his ass. But right after that, we end up finally getting to the cabin. When they pull up to the cabin, does it remind you of anything that we just recently kind of spoke about?
Real quick, before they get to the cabin, you see them going through the tunnel, and that's where we get the first glimpse of
the bird. Yeah, when
the barrier.
Yeah.
The bird is flying, we get a close-up shot, and then it runs into this visible shield and just fucking poof, disintegrates.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. It hits it.
So we know now that tunnel is the only way in and out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we also think, what's going on? Because, again, it hasn't been told to you yet what's actually happening. You just know something's up, something's strange. But when the bird hits you, like, that's a fucking force field. So
why is there a force field? This is going to get interesting. And then they approach the cabin.
They do. They approach the cabin, and it looks like it's from The Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
The Evil Dead.
All it was missing was a fucking chair swing.
That's it in the front.
That's it. That's the only thing that was missing. I'm pretty sure that there is a high possibility that that cabin was used in the remake of The Evil Dead.
I'm pretty sure of it.
It's possible.
100%.
It's possible.
Let me look this up real quick.
Because it is a spitting image. Even the way they pull up to the cabin is very Evil Dead like. They don't that side way they come in. They don't come straight. They come towards the side. They pull in, and when you see a cabin like that, like the first thing you think is, yeah, we're gonna have a good weekend. Not me though. I look at that. I go, this is the cabin that your cousin has.
Every time.
It is the same cabin.
It is the same cabin.
In Morristown, Tennessee, yes.
So it's the same cabin from the remake of Evil Dead and obviously Cabin in the Woods.
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. So
that's beautiful.
And the Evil Dead one was 2013. So they used it after this.
Right after, yeah.
So that's always great. A nice little Easter egg right there too for the Evil Dead remake. But
so many Easter eggs in this movie. I know I'm gonna miss so many.
There is a lot that's
16
happening.
times, but Holy shit.
There's
I just love
there's
it.
a lot.
And the more I find out, the more happy I am about it.
And that's what makes it interesting, because there's so much Easter eggs to it. To as you start to watch it, you got to watch it multiple times to even find more that maybe you didn't see prior. Once they enter the cabin, then the games begin, and I literally mean the games begin, because we get back to the facility where we have fucking Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford walking around going, okay, time to place your bets. Time to place your bets. Yep. And you're thinking, like, what the fuck are they talking about? And it turns out they are betting for what is going to be the fucking, like, entities or entity to attack and kill them.
Summon.
Who are they going to summon? And Bradley Whitford, man, he's shooting for them mermaids.
I love that when he's like, the conch was in his hands.
Yeah, the fucking conch was right in his hands. And all he was looking for was a damn mermaid.
They're talking about how messy the cleanup is for them, because that comes back later.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, nah, it's a nightmare for the cleanup crew.
I love the fact that they make it to the sense of, like, this is normal for them.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You know?
They're so far removed from it. They've done it so many times.
Just like,
they're just desensitized to it.
They're just like, yeah, no, so who's, all right, what do we, bet? Oh, these guys are maintenance again? They always stick to the same guys, the Buckners. They're always choosing the Buckners at this. And the intern went with them. He decided, he's like, you know, do you want to change your bet? Like, I love that, the whole Vegas vibe to it. They have the odds up there. They have everybody up there on the chart. And, you know, sitting there breaking it down. And Sabrina, you saw this chart, and you have the picture of the chart. And there were some Easter eggs on that chart that stuck out to you.
Oh, it's full of Easter eggs. Like, you get witches and sexy witches, which are very different categories on there. And they make a point to say, when one of the lab workers is like, well, I voted for zombies. And they go, there's zombies. And then there's zombie redneck torture family. Different categories. And it's because some movies may have the same premise, like you may get zombies in both movies, but they're different zombies.
That's
so
true.
They have to do this. But like, you get Hell Lord, angry molesting tree, that's definitely Evil Dead. Deadites, which are completely different. You get, let's see, Scarecrow folk, Alien Beast,
Snowman,
Dragon Bat.
Of course, the mermen, which they love. I want to know what unicorn came from, because if that's
that part was great.
Nod, like, I watched Carousel, and now I have to make the connection because I loved it. But like, I wanna see what that leads to. But dolls, there's dolls, zombie redneck torture family, twins,
Snowman
from The Shining, Snowman, Jack Frost. Like, we're literally just looking at this list and pinpointing exactly which movies they came from. Vampires, of course, like that could be literally any number.
That's pretty much.
What about Sugar Plum Fairy?
That one's good. The Sugar
Plum
Fairy.
That one reminds me of Tooth Fairy. I think that was a play on Tooth Fairy, or like Darkness Falls.
Okay, that were a giant snake. Like that's Falls. Anaconda.
Yup.
So,
God, what was the one?
Who's Kevin?
Folk? That's Jeepers Creepers.
Okay, yeah.
Kevin, there's a theory about Kevin that it is from the movie We Need to Talk About Kevin.
Okay.
So it's just a murderous teenager.
Gotcha.
And I think that was where, in one frame on the big ass monitors, you see somebody that looks like Norman Bates from American Psycho just swinging at people. I think that was supposed to be Kevin.
Oh, okay.
Because it's just a guy.
Now, here's my question, though. This is a big question. Okay. We're all working at the facility. Where's your bet going? Who are you betting on? Now, keep in mind, you don't know. You don't. Obviously, we know the Buckners are the one that gets picked because maintenance and Ronald wins. But who would you pick? Ronald, the intern. He gets a W on this one. But who out of all these, what are you picking? What are you betting on?
I like that nobody picked dismemberment goblins.
Okay.
And no one picked Dragon Bat.
No one picked that.
I like zoology.
Oh, with the giant?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Giant and the zoologist.
So that's where your money goes?
Yeah, that's it. Well, I don't know. I don't know. All right. So I just like that because it's unique. All right. It's just unique. I think I would go with sexy witches.
Sexy witches. So you're part of the archives.
You know, that I do like that. My money would have to be on Wendigo.
Very good. Wendigos.
Nobody put money in that, but I would put my money on Wendigo.
Nice.
You know, I think I would have went with the doctors. I think I would have had to go with the doctors.
Yeah.
I think it's fair. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with doctors, and that makes sense. It's in the accounting. Accounting's the one that voted for doctors. They bet on doctors, so that fits with me as somebody that had that background. So all right,
if I went based on my profession, it would be Jack-o'-lantern.
That's a good one too. What about Mr. Malave? Which one would you be?
Based on your profession.
Based on your profession.
Okay, I don't see sales in here at all. So I guess distribution, right?
Is there any distribution?
Or communication. So
yeah,
I'm
probably
vampires
communication.
or snowman.
No, man. Yeah, that's a good one.
Fair.
All right, that's good.
Fucking snowmans, baby.
That's good. That's pretty good.
I like that Hadley's the only one that picks Merman.
Yeah, he really wanted to see him. I mean,
he really wanted to see Merman.
As later on, he did see one. He got it right up and close too.
They weren't lying that the cleanup is a nightmare.
The cleanup was indeed a fucking nightmare. But let's get back into the betting now. Everybody places their bets, and then you see them at the control board, and you're watching them literally take control of what's happening. They can change the lighting. They can change the fucking weather if they wanted to. Like, when they're in the woods at one point, she's saying that she's cold. So he puts up the fucking
cold
heat.
To have sex out here.
Oh,
turn up the
fucking great. And all they wanted to do was
dark.
see tits.
Let me turn up the moon
and he turns the moon up. Fantastic.
And then they pump pheromones. They just
so they get them hornier,
from the ground.
Yeah, to get them horny.
And that part was great because they were like, "Come on, don't disappoint." There's a lot of people riding on this right now.
Who's like, "Wait, why does it matter if she takes her top off or not?" And they say, "Got to keep the clients happy.
Got to keep the clients happy.
Clients what they want."
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
and we are the clients.
We're the clients.
That's right. Yeah. We, as the audience, are the clients.
When he says we're not the only ones watching.
We are the ones watching. They're breaking the fourth wall in a weird sense of saying that the clients are the viewers.
Yep.
And you're watching it, and because you're sitting there going, yeah.
You're watching right there with them. You see everyone in that lab just standing around like, she do it. And the minute she says, it's too cold, and they're like, everyone go away. You're fucking...
You're ruining
shit. Me.
But then when she took it off, though,
hands over, she takes it off, and it's 3 dudes in a room just staring.
But they focus on Bradley Whitford right off the bat. He's just looking, wow, some nice ass tits.
He's admiring before he just flips the switch to take her out
to get it started too, right at that bat. So okay, but before they even get to that part, they end up flipping a certain switch that opens up a trapped door.
Evil door.
An
Evil Dead door.
Evil Dead.
Yes.
In the kitchen.
And they have to go down. Now, my favorite is they have to decide if they have to go down there or not. That part was great.
Well, it's like they were playing a game of truth or dare.
Yes.
Right.
So she did. They dared. I dare to go down there. Yeah. And that she part, did. She did. But then you hear her go, how long do I have to be down here for?
Like, until morning.
It's like, why don't you just go down there and see what's down there? That's literally why they're sending you down there.
Dead by Dawn, and also there's one of my favorite video games that they make reference for Wendigo, which is Until Dawn.
Until Dawn, yeah. They're making a movie about that. That one's actually getting a movie.
I'm so excited about it.
It should be interesting because it is a choose-your-own-adventure game, so I wonder how they're going to make a movie out of a choose-your-own-adventure game.
Yeah.
Not really choose-your-own-adventure. It's more like choice-based,
So choose your own adventure.
You direct where the story goes, but it's not you getting to choose what, like, a choose your own adventure is like, oh, do you want, to go down the dark hallway, or do you want to go down the light path outside? You don't get to choose that. It's like, no, you're going
I
down the
thought
dark
you
hallway.
did. I mean,
Now it's action based.
Yeah, right.
I played it
You
when it
can.
came out, and I'm pretty sure I was able to choose left or right at certain points, and the game would go with it, and it would change based on how I
points, but
how I choose.
not all. Like there's canon events that you can't change.
Right, there are things that you can't change, but how can you make a movie based on decisions, like of
for
a
the main
player? How do you make a movie based on a decision of a player?
Because instead of the player choosing for one person, you're just following the main storyline without the brain.
So you're just gonna write. It's like
Yeah.
like Clue. Clue always ends in multiple, and they could do that actually in the movie. They could have it where there's multiple endings, like kind of like how Clue was. They had 3 endings in Clue because it was like, well, what if it was this way? And you're like, oh yeah, right, makes sense.
I
So
just
that-
want them to be able.
endings.
Not to get off topic too much, but like I would love to see it if they made 3 different endings and released it to different theaters.
That would be pretty cool. That's actually a pretty awesome idea where you have to like go and
for sure.
you never know what ending you might get. That's
so
pretty
you're going
dope.
to multiple theaters to see it to try to figure out like which endings are which.
Yeah, that's
And,
I actually
each
like that.
region gets it, but you get to disperse it.
I like that. That's pretty cool. Actually, you should let them know this because they haven't started filming yet. So you should
I should
email them
absolutely let them know.
because that's how you get
Film
some
3
money on
different
that shit.
endings.
That's not a bad idea actually.
Even if you just make it 2 different endings, it's something to gravitate and like get viewers.
I like that though. It's different and it'll keep the viewer interested as well because you don't know what you're gonna get. And there have been movies that had one ending and then they got a bad audience reaction, so they made a second ending to the movie. Hence why we have, alternate endings. But something like this, you can just have 2 endings. It depends which movie you get. I think that's pretty cool because that's what the game is. You're determining really where we're going to end.
Where are you going?
Yeah, you determine all that stuff. So back to the movie, when they're actually downstairs and everybody goes downstairs, they start to see all of this stuff, all of these toys, all of these weird things that they could play with and explore.
Conduits.
All the conduits.
All of them seem like they're gravitating towards different things too. So it's just a
Well, I
matter
like
of
that.
which one picks which.
Yeah.
Right. It's who makes the jump. Because right now everybody found their thing. It's just like, oh. And
Except for Marty.
no, he was playing with the film. At first he was like,
looking-
guys, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like,
that's
you're not gonna
how it
touch
was.
Those?
Yeah, because that was the first thing. Was like his whole thing is being like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you all going there? Why are you touching this stuff?" And then he sees the film, and then he starts to play with the film.
That's fair.
So, do they mention like what his major was? No, maybe he was a
His
film
major
major,
was smoking that.
smoking the doobies.
Roll that shit, smoke that shit.
He was rolling
That's
them
what he was
doobies
about.
and smoking. I mean, he was high as shit. But because he was high, he was the most rational one out of all of them.
Yeah.
He was the only one that
Weed, man.
he figured that shit out.
You know.
We be letting you know. And they all end up gathering around Dana as she's reading the journal.
I do like when Marty says, "Don't read the Latin,"
Mhm.
and you hear that whisper in the back that says,
Yeah.
and he's the only one that can hear that.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Is nobody else hearing this shit?"
Yeah. That part's good. You guys don't hear that? It's
Hi.
read the Latin. Read it. And then she starts to read it. And then when you see the Buckners, the zombies come up, it immediately zooms out into the facility. And Richard Jenkins like, who in the Buckners win? And maintenance goes crazy. Woo! And we got maintenance and
collected.
Ronald, the intern. And yeah. And Ronald's in the back. Yeah. And everybody's just pissed. It's like, fuck, come
Justin
on.
for Ronald.
Tight.
I like that.
I love that.
That it's that
I
how
love
they
that.
their initial reaction of just being pissed off that these humans are about to be mauled and died, and it just wasn't their choice. Fuck.
And it was just
Really
they
wanted
just
to see a
lost
merman.
That's how I feel
And
when
that's
I
where
put
you
a
get
parlay in. I gotta
That
be
other
honest
lab
with you.
assistant that was just like, "Well, I also picked zombies," and they're like, "No, zombies and zombie mutant redneck family are 2 different categories."
Two different categories.
And it's always maintenance that gets it. And I love that because it's just, this whole time you're watching it, it's getting in depth. They're getting to that whole Evil Dead shit. Don't read the book. Don't read the Latin. don't say the term, don't say the words, and they say it, and then you start to see, oh shit, something's coming, but then it just fucking zooms out, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, this is also a comedy, and they're the Buckners, all right, maintenance, and Ronald the intern, and out of nowhere, you just hear Ronald in the back, yeah, and then just, you're like, oh, that's right, this is not a true horror movie, this is fucking insane. And then
because they do a good job of
of
like just kind of getting you intimate and caring about the scenery and the scenario, and then out of nowhere they just flip it on its head and just be like, no, we're controlling this. Like,
that's what I like.
Time in between them getting to the cabin and them finding this stuff
mm-hmm.
to almost put the facility in the background, and then when it's at the forefront again, you're like, that's right.
Yeah,
this is what's happening.
That's what I really like too, is that the movie's so well done and actually so good that you will forget that it's being controlled. And then when it comes back, you do that whole, oh yeah, that's right. This is actually planned. And then just the reaction of the workers of just going, God damn it. Like, I wanted a merman. And you're like, dude, people are going to die. And what I do like, because what's the other security guy? What's his name? Brian White. The Brian White plays him. Daniel.
Okay,
he's a security guy, and he's pretty much like, so this is all planned. Yeah, pretty much. So why don't you just cheat? Because you can technically cheat to win. And what Richard Jenkins says is very important, because he goes, we don't control what they do. You know, like, in a sense, they die. And this was after the girl dies, the blonde chick, because they're about to do it, stab right in the motherfucking hand. You know, for some reasons, they're able to hold Chris Hemsworth back very well, and they slick her.
I think it's just because he fucking ran immediately, but Jules gets decapitated.
She gets decapitated, just right off. But that's when Richard Jenkins explains, like, this is the plan all along. Like, they have to die in order for all this to work, but we don't choose their death. They choose their path. And that's the ending of it. You know, they could survive.
It's like free will. They have free will. You can't manipulate free will.
Well, they technically do manipulate free will in a sense. It's more for like Dana, because that's why, like, when they get towards the end with Dana, they're like, well, with her, it doesn't matter if she lives or dies. Like, the ritual's done. Nobody cares at that point. Because remember, they think at one point that Marty's dead, but he's not.
They fucked up.
That's true.
Yeah, they made a boo-boo on that one.
It also has a horror movie trope with that, because you do not see him die on screen.
That's right.
But he's supposed to be dead. But logic says if you don't see it on screen, it didn't happen.
It did not happen.
So we get from there. So, she gets her fucking head chopped right off. Just Jules gets it.
Oh, clean off.
I just love how they just they throw it right at her.
And she just like turns her face towards her and then just fucking screams.
Trope. It's another trope.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
They catch a head, but they don't scream until they see whose head it is. It's like, oh, I know this person. And then they fucking lose their shit.
It's my friend.
It's my friend.
Oh my
she
God.
was a Power Ranger.
It's my friend's head. She doesn't have a head anymore. What is she going to do?
But Chris Hemsworth makes that very clear when he comes in, when he's just like,
he's like, she's gone.
She's gone. She's
and Dana's
dead.
Like, I'm not leaving without her. And it's just like, she's gone.
Like, she's dead.
Like, she's dead.
She's dead, you bitch.
Like, at that point, Kurt was the smartest fucking person. To be like, she's gone. We gotta go.
He does say that, and then he says we need to stick together, which then they pump in that little thing that makes him completely change his mind. He's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. We need to split up. But then you get Marty go, what? Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, no, we cannot split up.
Like, you know what? That's a good idea. We can cover more ground. It's almost just like a, hey, you guys, this isn't how the story's supposed to be played.
Right.
Yeah. We gotta fix this.
So I
see it too. Immediately, I think his name was like Stitler or something. I forget.
Was it Richard?
I know
Jenkins?
one of them was like, I know it was Hadley and what did the
Richard Jenkins
stepbrothers? What was his name?
Richard Jenkins.
Yeah, what was his character's name?
Sitterson. Gary.
Sitterson.
Sitterson.
So you see Sitterson when he's saying like, hey, we should stick together. He smacks his hand on the desk and turns a little bit, and then he goes and flips a switch. Like, God damn it, that's not what you were supposed to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, no, fuck,
Like he
come
was
on.
pissed off.
Yeah.
Because again, they have to, at least the 4 of them have to die. Dana was, if she dies, she dies. If she doesn't, she doesn't. But she can't die before these
The
guys
ritual
die.
isn't dependent on it.
Right. That's why, and that's what Richard Jenkins explains. He's like, well, if she lives, it's fine. If she dies, cool. But she can't die before them. They all have to die before that happens. And right after Jules gets it, like, it starts going. And people just start dying. Because the next one is
start dying.
Because
and
Hemsworth's
like
next.
45 minutes too. Like
it takes a while to get there.
It didn't come quick. It takes a while, but then we get plenty of it to not even care, you know?
Once when it kicks off, it really kicks off.
Yeah, I like that though, because they actually gave you a fucking story. They gave you the whole background. Here's what's happening. So you as the audience doesn't feel like what are you doing? Like this is what's gonna go down. And then once Jules takes a fucking head off, everybody's getting it at that point. Do you think Marty's got it? Well, Marty, we find out later, is perfectly fine, but Hemsworth's next. And I love the whole, I'm going to jump it.
Yeah.
Dude.
I think that's my favorite scene in this movie, right? Because like you get Chris and he's just like, you get dumb jock vibes and you're just like, oh, come on, dude. Like, you're not going to make this. And then like, I even forgot at that point. I forgot about the force field, like because like you get it with the bird slightly, but then you're like, okay, like,
right? You completely forget about it.
You completely forget about it because this is like an hour in now, and then out of nowhere you just get splat. Like if you have a fly that that hits your windshield. And he just goes like parading down.
Oh, I love when he's going
the sparks when his body hits it multiple times on the way down is like cinema masterpiece.
It's so funny because you see him going down, and then it stops for a minute, and then it's lower, and you just see spark. Yeah. You're like, there he goes. There he goes. There he goes.
Shit, he's still going.
Thor's still going right now. And yeah, I love the fact that he just looks and he goes, all right. I'm going to come back with police officers and helicopters and ambulances. And you're just like, he's so dumb right now.
And he's like,
let's go.
I'm going to make sure that they pay.
Yeah, then make sure that they pay.
There's the zombies and your girlfriend's already dead.
For what they did to Jules.
Yeah.
Go get him. And they made it look like it was going to be.
The fact that he thought that would work. Because if you look at that ravine, what he's working with, a fucking dirt bike.
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen.
Never worked.
No. They did make it seem like he could have made it, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they gave you that moment of thinking, like, oh, shit, he might. Oh, never mind.
Shit, he might,
Nope, that force field there.
Forgot there was
one way
force
in,
field.
one way out.
Their reactions, though, the final 2 at that point, well, at least we thought were the final 2, were just like, oh, well, we gotta go. Like, it was just like, well, fuck this. Because I guess at that moment you realize, like, there's no way out. But there is a way out. They tried that way out. And that's the other part that we forgot to mention. When they're trying to get out, they go through the tunnel, and Richard Jenkins is losing his shit because they didn't blow the tunnel. Demolition didn't do their job. So he's sitting there going, oh, shit, no, because they were that close to get out. And he has to go play with the wires and then fucking caves in. So,
but he said it was an order directed from upstairs,
which we find out somebody else's. But that's weird though, because then they would have got away.
Correct.
So who made the order?
So it's like, wait, so who ex-nayed that order to blow up the?
It wasn't the main cameo.
No.
Somebody made that order, but who made the order?
Somebody fucked up big time.
Somebody fucked up, and then. That's when Hemsworth goes and tries to jump it. Doesn't work out. We get them back in the car. They're heading out. They're trying to find a way. And their my favorite line, though, with Jesse Williams, where he's like, if we just keep driving, we'll just keep driving, and eventually we'll get out of here. No, I don't think that's how that works.
No.
I don't think
that's going to work.
That, Papa Buckner is like holding the knife and stabs him through the seat,
Yes.
through his throat,
Through his
like,
throat.
right
Oh,
through the
yeah.
Adam's apple.
Oh
Great.
yeah.
That
Good
was
shot.
beautiful.
That was a
You
good
get
shot.
some really good deaths.
There's
in
good
Yeah.
kills. Yeah.
movie.
You
Yeah.
get the blood that you want.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
definitely get the blood. That's for sure. Because right after that, so now he's dead. So now 3 of them are dead, which we think 4 are dead. We think 4 are dead, but right now it's only 3. Because then Marty ends up coming back. And that shit makes you... What now? When Marty came back, Miss Malave, did you go, yeah, Marty?
I said it was the power of the weed, man. I'm telling you.
Power of the weed.
It's the power of the weed. I was actually, I was just like, you know what? Of course, it slowed his heart rate down enough for him to just come back. You know, like it's just it's marijuana, man. It's so good. It's so good.
So it did
Yeah,
its job.
I was definitely excited on. I was like, all right, he didn't die. You know, but you know. As we see at the end, all right, I'll just fast forward. I'm not gonna fast forward, but yeah, no, it was a pleasant surprise because I mean, I didn't want to like a final girl right away, especially because we get more movie. Like it's almost like a whole nother movie.
It is. It's a whole nother
There's a
fucking
second
movie.
act.
There's literally that's the third act. If you think about
the third,
it,
yeah, the third act.
that's the
It's
third
crazy
act
because,
of the movie.
again, it's like they took 2 movies and smashed them together, but it was so seamless in the smashing that you're like, I'm still watching the same movie, but it's a different movie. It
Oh,
changes movies like 3 times.
1,000%. I love that part. Now they find themselves a way out in a weird way. They are able to get out, but now they're in the facility with
Dude,
the
I
monsters.
wish Marty still held on to his collapsible bong cup
Oh,
as a
yeah.
weapon.
Mhm.
I don't know why. I just really want that as an improvised.
Yeah,
weapon.
I wanted one of the creatures to die by bong. You know.
I mean,
That'd
I'm
have been
pretty
pretty
sure
bad.
one of the zombies like got knocked out or put
Yeah,
down
he
by
hits
the
one of the
bong
zombies
when
with
Marty,
it.
like died. But I love that he goes like you see the hand come up when they're in the elevator or like about to go into the elevator, and it grabs onto Dana and she shakes it off and screams. He goes, "Oh yeah, I had to dismember him with a trowel." So what have you been up to?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Kind of like I've been over here kicking ass. What have you done?
he
we're
was kicking.
You
it.
good?
wasting screen time.
But I
That's what
like
you
Yeah.
doing.
when they're in that elevator, you finally get to see everything.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like that
You get to
scene
see
right there is
every
badass.
Easter egg that they had in there.
That's a badass scene right there. Everything you get
Oh
to
my
take a
God.
look at. And a nice old zoom out where she realizes it first, of course, where she's just looking around like, oh my God, like everything clicks. This has been planned all along. It's fucking wild. Mr. Malave,
Yeah,
what did you
no,
think
it's
about
crazy.
this?
I mean, again, you get the twins from The Shining. You get what is it? The mouse from like even Silent Hill. Like you get those creatures from there. You get Smiley like with the teeth. You know, you get so many other things in there. I just fucking I loved it. I kept like every time I watch it, I'll try to like pause it and see what else do I see. You know what I mean? Just because you get so many. And even then, it goes so fast and you're like, fuck, I need to see more. You know, granted, we see them like a lot of them come into play when they're in the facility and everything else too. But those compartments alone, like it's just like it's genius. Like I just again, this movie is just so fucking clever when it just comes to like dropping everything in there and like. And was it around this time that no things were already kind of chaotic because like I was thinking it was around that time that Japan kind of
Shit
like
the bed.
stopped the grudge witch or the girl from the ring with love and
That was
it
great.
turned into a frog. But
The happy frog.
That was
the
really
happy
good.
frog, the evil is gone.
Evil is gone.
defeated. It is
The
now
evil is
living in
defeated.
the happy frog.
Well, that's when they start to see that each
They are
fucking
the last
country
resort.
there has failed.
They're failing.
Everybody's failing, and they're like, ah, fuck,
But I
we're
love
the
that they
last
say
ones.
that Japan is number 1 and has like a rating of 100, like no fails. And then we see that, well, this is the day that they fail, and America's number 2. So now it literally falls on us. We have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as we always do, we find a way to fuck it up.
We find
Of
a way
course.
to fuck it up.
Because when you have
But I love
Richard
I love
Jenkins
that
and Bradley Whitford,
menagerie that we were talking about. The menagerie of horror villains and
Yeah.
slashers and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
even to bring back all those video game fans. It's got fucking Boomer in there from Left 4 Dead 2. Like right in that little glass
Which is
menagerie. It's
wild.
beautiful. So they're bringing elements from all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
not just movies.
Yeah.
I think
Which
it's
is
I think
great,
it's
'cause
fucking
So well
awesome.
done, man. Like,
Didn't they have like the nurses too from Silent Hill?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
little
like, I
bobblehead
knew
nurse.
it. Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah,
It's
they
so
really
fucking good.
opened it up for you as the audience to, as you see it, sit there to go, wow, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at this. And then,
Kind of makes you think about like, oh, everything I've been involved with in horror has been controlled by this one facility.
Yeah, you think that.
Everything.
it's
And
possible.
it was almost like Resident Evil-esque too. I don't know if I'm reaching here, right? But like, you know how like there's the mansion, and then underneath the mansion there was like the laboratory, and that was like where everything was coming out of from.
Sure.
You know, so like
Yeah.
it's very much so like things aren't what it seems on the top
Mm-hmm.
down into the bottom, but you get kind of like that motif of like the Resident Evil hive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're just like, all right, well, here's all these fucking creatures, go to town, you know?
Yeah, I have to agree. It gives you the Resident Evil vibe, gives you the Belko experiment vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And they put it all and mash it into one, and it's just a fan service, really, in the long run. And that's what the movie feels when you watch it. You're like, this is just a homage to all things horror and comedy and a great time that you can have. And then, you know, when they actually get into the facility, you know, that's where they realize that they're in a little bit of trouble, because the whole point now is Marty has to die. That's where we're at. Marty's, no one gives a fuck about her, but she cannot die before he dies. He has
They
to
even
die
give the
first.
order. They say, not the girl. Guy
Yeah.
has to die first.
Do not, not
So
the
even
girl,
when like
kill the
their
guy.
SWAT team comes in and they're like aiming guns at them, it's like they're all aimed at Marty.
Yeah, they're not
Marty
trying
has
to kill
be
her.
the one to go.
And when
She's essentially like a no-touch zone.
she is, don't touch her. Unless you can touch her afterwards if you want, because it doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah.
But he has
Touch
to
her
go
afterwards.
first. He's got to die. And I love the part when they're in, like, you know, they're in the little security room. They're looking around, and she kind of looks down, sees the control board, and realizes, oh, I have an idea. And just bop, hits the fucking button, and then ding, and just
Code black.
boom, and you're like, whoa, like
You
everybody's
see all the
dying.
lights come on, all the doors open, they all rush out. And that was just wave one.
Yeah, they
Because
kept
if you
coming.
notice, after they paid an homage to The Shining with the elevator doors opening and it's just a bloodbath.
Mhm.
But
Just
then
a bloodbath.
that shot, you're still seeing the lights flick on again and the elevator doors open again for
Yep.
the second wave of monsters.
I love that part. That is just a bunch of
It's so
monsters and
good.
crazy fuckers come out. When the snake comes out,
and
Oh
then
my
they
God.
throw them, and then they just eat them.
Uh-huh.
Just fucking munches on them.
fantastic. This was just,
The
Yeah.
crunching
you wanted
of
some
bones.
blood? You can't, if you were in this movie complaining like, man, they're just not giving enough blood. Gotten up now.
Don't
Yeah,
worry,
got
it's
plenty.
coming.
And like it was all of it, and then everyone's eating it. Like everybody's getting it. And at first you'd think that these two are going to be fine because they're literally sitting there like, well, we're locked in here. No one knows we're in here. They're all fucking dying. We just chill for a bit. We should be okay. And then the bat comes. Just comes crashing right through that shit. You're like, oh fuck, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
It was the dragon bat.
Dragon Bat. Yeah, Dragon Bat shows up. That shit is wild. I love how, like, I mean, literally, like, what the security officer, I thought he would have maybe made it a little more towards the end to try to help them in a sense, because he seemed like he was more, like, against what was going on. Like, it was just his job, you know, but
He
then,
was just trying to figure it out.
yeah,
Once
and
he
then,
figured
was
it out,
just
he
as
seemed a little
confused.
uncomfortable, but
except when the zombies came in, they just immediately killed him.
yeah.
You were just like, oh, he's dead.
like
Okay.
a horde of them.
Mhm.
I feel like he should have had a badass moment at least once.
Yeah, he didn't get his badass moment.
But he didn't.
But that might be the trope, you know, the black guy gets that badass, the cop gets his badass moment, or he was like a military guy too, like because they even mentioned like this isn't the military.
Get some.
Yeah, he didn't get a cool line. He didn't get shit. He got charged at and he died, and you were like, oh, he means nothing.
Yeah.
The badass
In the grand
moment.
scheme of things,
Nobody.
he was a speck on, someone's ass. That
the-
was it.
The director's ass.
The badass moment was Bradley Whitford's moment where he just looks and sees the merman coming and he goes, "Oh, for Christ's sakes."
I love when his vision is like trying to focus on what it is from his perspective, and then it flips out so you see his face, and he's just like, "Oh, for Christ's sake!"
Yeah.
And then you just see this thing like limping and fucking sloshing at him until it gets to him, and you see its mouth just like right over him, just inhales his face like a fucking corn dog.
No, but
And you're like,
it's so
all
funny
right.
when he realized that it was like the fin
Yeah.
was flapping.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
like, oh
The
no. And
irony
then
is so
it's
great.
almost like you realized it as a fan too, like as an audience member, because you're like,
He got his
at first
mermaid.
you're like, what is this ghoul mutated thing like crawling towards him? And then out of nowhere you just see the fin. You're like, is that a fucking merman? It is
And
a
you see
freaking
the
merman.
blood spray up from its blowhole, and you're
Uh-huh.
like, that's why cleanup crew hates him.
Yeah.
That
Fucking
shit.
sprinkler of blood.
That shit was great. And he got it. He got what he wanted, a merman, and he got himself a merman.
he got
Oh,
himself a merman.
The girl, what happened to her? She got the snake? The snake got her?
Snake.
Yeah, I think that was the one that she didn't fall off, right?
No, I think
that wasn't the one that
it
got
grabbed
thrown.
her.
No.
It grabbed her.
I believe it grabbed her, pulled her out. She was gone. And then Richard Jenkins was able, because they were trying to open that hatch.
He just got stabbed by Dana.
Yeah, and that was it for him. He just got stabbed.
Yeah.
And then you would, I don't know, I felt like Richard Jenkins should have got a better death than that.
I feel like
I
he
agree.
should have died at the hands of their own creation instead of Dana.
Yeah,
But then again, they created Dana in that sense
right.
because she
I
was
feel
not
like-
who she was at that moment until after all this
Yeah.
happened. But
Sure.
I feel like that was the best death for him just because it was not a creature. It was like an actual person that he was doing all the shit to.
By mistake.
It was more like this. Right. But it was more like, yeah, but it felt like almost like comes full circle. Like you're
Sure.
watching all these people die and like, all this other shit. Now that a person just killed you, not a creature.
That's not
like
a bad
his
way to
own
look at it.
hubris killed him.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
not a bad way to look at it,
exactly.
too, because, again, like, she didn't mean to kill him. She just heard something running at her, and she took a stab. It turned out it was him.
Boom. Yeah.
And that was pretty much the end of that. And then they go into that whole, like, temple, and they're able to see what's going on. They're putting two and two together, and then we hear steps.
My girl.
And it's Ellen Ripley. Ellen Ripley shows up because Sigourney Weaver is the director. She's the top dog.
Yeah. Wild.
She's the
Did
voice
you
over
guys
the intercom
expect
when
her?
they're talking about. I mean, I expected her when I heard her voice over the intercom.
Yeah, sure.
I
Because you do
wasn't
hear her
expecting
voice.
her to be in that movie. No.
When you hear her talking to them, like, don't do this. Like,
I was like, I hope she's there and it's not just an automated voice on there.
Yeah.
no, she shows up suit and all. She's
My
fucking.
girl.
She's just like, hey, guys, so listen, it's just, we got to do this. It's nothing personal. It is what it is.
It's the end of the world.
She explains to Dana that it's like you're up against the whole world, saving the whole world or saving this one guy. And I don't think Dana has any emotional attachment to Marty other than like, oh, well, he's my friend.
That's,
Because she's so quick to pick up the gun and be like, I'm so sorry, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was going to do it.
But she
But she
doesn't
Really was.
He says, hey, I'm sorry too.
because
And
the
then you
werewolf shows
see
up.
The fucking werewolf approach from behind her and take a big chunk out of her fucking shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy shit, she's going to die before Marty.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's what I
This
thought was going to
the whole thing,
happen.
just
That's what I
happened.
thought was going to happen.
I thought she was
gonna
going to die before Marty,
Yeah.
and it was going to cause huge problems.
I
So,
thought
like,
that's
it
what
wouldn't
was
have
going to
mattered
happen.
if Marty lived or died,
Mm-hmm.
because the whole world was going to be fucked anyway.
Right. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. I thought when the werewolf came, the werewolf was going to grab her, and then, like, you would have Sigourney Weaver going, no! Like, and then she would have died. And would have been like, no, because now it doesn't matter. Because, and like
Right.
Sabrina, you have mentioned, the ending is you're not the biggest fan of. Mainly,
No.
and when I think about it, this would have been a better ending if that's how you wanted to finish the movie, where it was it, it's over,
Yeah.
the world's going to end. But this would have been a better ending because it's their own creatures fuck shit up,
Correct.
Like, instead of
I
them just
think it
going,
would be
fuck
way better than
humanity.
what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
'Cause,
because
yeah.
what we got, you guys know, it's Sigourney Weaver fighting over the gun. Finally, it comes down to like essentially a little girl, grudge-like or ring-like, comes over and pushes Sigourney Weaver off the edge.
She
Now
stabs her in the head with a.
Marty and Dana, and it's like a back and forth of like, well, I can't kill you. Sorry, I'm sorry I held the gun up. I wouldn't have shot you otherwise. This, that, and the other, and they just agree, like, yeah, humanity's shit. We're not going to save it.
That's exactly
I
what
don't
it
think
is.
And then end of
they
the
should
world.
be. Yeah, and then you just see a giant fucking ancient one's hand come out of the ground underneath the cabin and grab onto the earth. I feel like that ending was a fucking cop out. I love everything
Well,
about
how
this
else?
movie.
Besides-
I'd say
last
go
10
ahead.
minutes.
Go ahead, break it down.
The
Yeah,
last
please,
10 minutes.
what else would you get?
I don't want the conflict to be in the hands of those people that had no say in it whatsoever. I like the fact that if they still didn't have a say, because then it means that nothing that they have done from the beginning mattered anyway. So I like that element of, if it doesn't matter, get fun with it. Instead of having it, those two make the decision of, oh, well, fuck humanity, let somebody else take care of it. All right, so now both of you are dying anyway. It doesn't matter.
Exactly,
I would have liked to see it either as Dana gets killed before Marty by their creatures, and the creatures doom them all for humanity. And it's like, cool, the facility that you created to appease these gods fucked you over, because now, A, that means that the facility's still overrun. So what the fuck are they going to do next year? Facilities are overrun, all the beasts are out. You now have a bigger problem on your hands that the rest of the world has to come to the rescue and fix. That's an ultimate level consequence. If you succeeded and you killed Marty and Dana live, and now Dana's like with these consequences. Or you killed Dana before Marty, and now it's like the Ancient Ones are coming no matter what. You fucked up. So like the two decisions are either like kill Marty, the world is saved, but now Dana has to live with all these consequences, and now the world comes up and cleans up the American facility's mess. Or B, you kill Dana before Marty, or you kill Marty. No, you kill Dana, and Marty's just stuck there like, well, we're gonna fucking die anyway. They should not have the choice. If they didn't have the choice in the beginning, like we were given the false sense that they had the choice of picking which way they would die, but they were still going to die anyway. That's a false choice. Do not give them the choice in the end, because their characters haven't even gotten to come full circle for it.
Sure.
Okay, I mean, I get that. I definitely do. And I agree. Maybe the ending that we just talked about would kind of be a little bit better. It would have made a little bit more sense. I take it as the fact that we're like, fuck humanity. It was the point. It was just like, well, it's moral conflict, right? It's been a moral conflict thing for a while, and it's just like, if I have to choose between killing somebody or not killing somebody, like we're not any better than the people controlling these facilities, and it's almost like, well, humanity is fucked anyway. You know what I mean? So it's almost like, fuck it, and then we get the big hand, and then it's like, boom. It's almost like the mass genocide and stuff like that when it comes to like Thanos and everything else too. It's just like, we are the problem in a way. So it's almost like the fact that I have a gun here and I have to kill you to save the world. It's almost like that's what's fucked about us. Like, that we are continuously doing bullshit. Like, I maybe I'm thinking too deep into that, but like, I feel like that's where it was going with the tie-in at the end. And it's just like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Maybe we're better if they just like wipe us out and start over,
And I can get where that's coming from.
Yeah.
But I don't think they had enough time to contemplate on that. It was literally the last 5 minutes of the movie where she's like, oh, I'm going to shoot you. Never mind, I'm not going to shoot you. Because the gun was wrestled away from her, not because she chose to put it down. So I feel like there's no moral conflict there with her until it's taken away from her and she's not given the choice.
Well,
so she apologizes in the last moments of life.
Right. Well, it was almost like initially, like, she was the evil. It's almost like she was going for it anyways. Like, yeah, fuck it, I'll kill you to save everyone else. And then, like, as she's dying or whatever, she's like, after the wrestle, she's like, fuck, like, you're right, that was not a good thing to do. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe that's the problem. You know what I mean? And then they both like, fuck it, we're gonna die.
Do you think that could have been the mindset, though?
Made.
Like, the mindset of her to realize, like, I'm not making it out of here alive. So if I kill you, nothing changes. Just the world gets to serve, world gets to live, pretty much. But
Right.
look at what the world gave us. And even if the world gets to live, the next year a bunch of other innocent people are going to get it. So maybe that is the mindset. But I agree with Sabrina too that it was a very short period of time for her to come up with that plan. Which, in the long run, I think her dying would have made more sense, or her turning into a werewolf. She was bit by a fucking
That
werewolf.
would have been fucking dope.
Like her eyes would have
That would've
fucking
been
lit up
cool.
or some shit. You'd be like, oh, she turned into a werewolf. And then Marty has to shoot her. And then it's like, oh, shit. Well, now you got nothing. Can't do shit now.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're going to give us more of a moral conflict like that, it needs to be drawn out a little bit more. Like Marty's talking about how, this whole thing is puppeteered. And when Dana realizes that's what's happening, that's where the moral conflict should have came up of like, well, Marty has to die and you can live and the rest of the world would live because her death is optional.
Yeah.
So at that point, she's contemplating the rest of the movie of like, should I kill Marty? Should I not? And then we get that ending where it's like, all right, here's the go time where you have to make that decision. Not give me 5 minutes of, I've told you what you have to do. And it's like, well, okay, I've made my decision. And then when that decision is forced from her, that's how the ending goes. She actually doesn't make a decision.
Yeah, no.
She doesn't. It gets taken away from her and she just sits with that decision and apologizes to him. It's almost like, well, we're going to die anyway. Sorry, I almost killed you. That wasn't me. But now we're both going to die, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, now it doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, listen, I get it. And the movie's relatively short too. It's an hour and 35 minutes. So I feel like if they were going to do something like that, they could have expanded it just a little bit. And it's not even like running time. It's almost like just little dialogues here and there that can like grab that conflict in there that would tie up at the end. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, they could have definitely added a little bit more when it comes to dialogue to see if that's the way to do it, or they were just like, how the fuck are we gonna end this? Oh, wouldn't it be cool if they lose and everyone dies?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I mean,
feel like that was probably
last
it.
10 minutes of that movie. Last 10 minutes could have been different. Have everything that you've done up until that point, because all of it is fantastic and I love it, hands down, 10 out of 10. We'll watch again. But that last 10 minutes, I'm like, you could have done a little better so I didn't get that ending. Just change it a little bit so I don't get that fucking stupid ass ending. And I'll be happy. Still, I recommend this movie to everybody.
1,000%.
It's a great ass movie.
I think 1,000%. This movie is a must watch.
But then I always tell them, I'm like, so tell me what you thought about the ending, because I love discussing this. I love it. It's
something to discuss
like, everyone
at a
has
panel.
a different opinion.
Something to discuss at a
100%.
panel.
I will bring this to a panel because I want to know the general consensus.
Yeah, that's something we could definitely discuss at a panel, because I'm sure a lot of people would have some opinions on it, and we would like to hear those opinions from everybody listening, anybody that shows up to the panels that we do, because we're going to be at Spooky Empire in October, so you definitely got to check that out when we're there. Who knows? We might do 2 panels. Probably, because we're going to probably go for all 3 days, so...
We got that much going for us, okay?
We know shit's going down. We know
2 panels
shit's going to happen.
We're going to pack it into as much as we can.
Sure.
2 panels.
Well, we can make it happen, though. We've done it before.
We'll do it again.
We've done it before. We'll do it again. But yeah, so that is Cabin in the Woods. We are finished when it comes to the story of the Cabin in the Woods. But before we finish it, let's do what I always like to do whenever we talk about movies. I'm going to ask you to rate it. I'm going to ask you to give me a rating on 1 to 5. What would you give it? And I also want to know, would you survive this movie? We're going to start with Sabrina, Ace Florida's favorite creep, the camp's favorite creep. What is your rating, and would you survive this movie?
I'm going to give it a 4.9 out of 5.
All right.
Because again, fantastic fucking movie. I just hate the ending. It's the point one off. That's all I got.
That's fair.
Would I survive? Absolutely fucking not, because I'm not meant to. I'm not. Nobody is meant to.
Yep. Very good.
I might make it like halfway through, but ultimately, no one is meant to survive this movie. The world is ending, no matter what I do.
Yeah, I like that. That makes a lot of sense. All right, Mr. Malave, what about you, sir? Head camp counselor. What are you rating it, and would you survive this movie?
Yeah, man. I love this movie. I stated it in the beginning of our cabin visit. And I love watching this movie. Nothing's perfect, so I don't want to give it a perfect score. But I do give it a 4.8.
Very nice.
Yeah, I think it was well done. The cast was great. It was funny, also gory, and like the kills were awesome. All the damn Easter eggs. It is literally a horror movie, like a horror fan's like dream come true. Like, would I survive? Same thing like Sabrina. No, because if I'm in this situation, that means I'm meant to die. All right. And if I survive, that means I'm gonna die anyway, because humanity's fucked.
Yep.
All right. So hell no, I'm not surviving this. I hope I never get put in this situation, which is why we gotta get the hell out of this cabin. But yeah. No, I won't survive.
Well, don't worry. We're about to get out of this cabin. Actually, the rain is starting to slow down, so we are going to be able to get out of here real quick. But before we do that, I just want to let everybody know that I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 because I go by halves. I don't add extra, numbers in there. I like to do halves. It makes my life easier. But would I survive? No, I'm agreeing with the two of you. I wouldn't survive either because, again, just like both of you literally said, you're there to die. I will be there and I will die. Not a virgin, so I have to die. And I'm pretty sure Dana wasn't a virgin either. Pretty sure she even said that. She was like, we're a virgin, but we take what we get. That's what Sigourney Weaver says. Well, we take what we get.
Yep.
Yeah, which is a great fucking line as well. So yeah, 1000%. This movie is a must see. This is before Chris Hemsworth was Thor, like right before, like literally before his movie came out. You got this movie, and it's got a great fucking cast, got a great fucking premise. It's fun. And anytime I've ever met somebody that watches horror and you mention The Cabin in the Woods, they're like, fucking love that movie. I haven't heard one person say anything bad about this movie except Sabrina when it comes to the ending. And even then, it makes sense what she's saying. It makes sense. It makes perfect fucking sense. But I'd be very. That's the thing. You're still saying, but by the way, it's still a great fucking movie. So
yeah, it's almost like you're like nitpicking in a way,
and that's fine. Sometimes that's what we do. We have to find things that maybe we don't like, or we just maybe could be done better, and that's what we're here for. That's why the people listen. That's why the campers are here, because they want to know what we have to say here at Night Camp Horror, and soon Night School Horror, because 2 weeks away, guys. 2 weeks. We got to go back to school. Is anybody excited to go back to school?
No.
You know what? Yeah, because I just love learning.
I do love to learn too. And, we'll see as time goes on. Maybe we'll have some special students may show up. We always have those exchange students tend to show up, or maybe just somebody forgets, what class they're supposed to be in, walk into the wrong door. And here they are at Night School Horror. But we'll see what happens. But now it is time to say goodbye because we have to get up out of here because it stopped raining, but it looks like the clouds are pulling in. I'm hearing weird sounds from the cellar. So let's say goodbye and let's get the fuck up out of here. We're going to start with Mr. Malave. Tell him goodbye and start pointing the campers on the way to the bus.
All right, children, come along with me, Mr. Malave, a.k.a. Matthew Malave, a.k.a. your head camp counselor. Now go and get on the bus, and we got to get the hell out of here. Till next time, stay creepy, stay scary. We out of here. Peace.
All right, bye, Mr. Malave. I will put the towels away. Just get the kids over to the bus. All right, Sabrina, Florida's favorite creep, summer camp favorite creep. Tell them goodbye and get your ass on the bus, too.
Sweet dreams, children. But first of all, I just want to say, make sure to not trip over that cellar door on your way out. It is flapping pretty wildly. But, yeah. Get your ass on the bus. Stay creepy.
All right. And then go ahead, get out there real quick. I'm going to lock up real quick. So everybody that's still here, what are you doing here? Get out of here. Thank you guys for listening so much to Night School Horror. We'll check you guys out next week, which will be our final week of summer camp. Got the towels, throw them away. Time to lock the doors. See you later.
Is that a penis?